All right, we're good. We're up. We're up and running. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Getting this started now. What's up, Internet God? Out there, associates. Stephanie. I believe I said I was going to make you a moderator. I don't know if I can do it right now, right here. Can I? Can I? I'll get your moderator, Stephanie. Don't worry about it. I'll get you. Um. So how's it going, people? Uh, today, today we got our guest, a special guest right here. We got KFARR. You can call him K Daddy while he's right here. I don't mind. Our co-host and our good friend, Mr. Corrections 101,
Yes,
and we're
sir.
gonna we're gonna do a special thing tonight. It's gonna be a little bit of a memory lane thing for our guys over here, and it's gonna be a little bit of a memory lane thing for me. But we're gonna go ahead and show you guys two views. One view is the correction side, meaning the people who are in the jails, who work at the jails, who do what they got to do every day, that go to work, the people that we respect and we want for people to understand and know that they have a hard job. Then the criminals who walk in there and what kind of experience they have. And it's basically going to be my experience. I'm not going to talk about the details as far as how I got there. Let's just say I got there. And this is just going to be about the whole time that I was in there, and they're gonna talk about their time working there. They're also gonna talk. We're also gonna see if we can talk about things like safety or whatever issues or any type of crazy times that they had. Uh, Before anything though, I wanted to give my co-host a little bit of time to talk about anything that he has upcoming or anything that he wants to do for the future. So take it away, corrections.
Yeah, so had a wild one last night with popping in on a stream with one broken system, broken trust. It got pretty rowdy. So I'm working on that video to edit it because there was a whole lot of swearing and it got pretty ugly. So I'm hoping to have that done and out tomorrow. And hopefully have a stream on my channel, in the next couple days, maybe with KFAR and some other people that may have an interest in talking about some of the nonsense Josh is spewing. It was kind of the whole Chili defense. Nope, nope, nope. Prove it. It's on the court record, Josh. Nope. It's a circular firing squad with him, as KFAR knows.
As it is with most of the frauditors, right? They none of them ever come in with good faith debates, and yeah, and hopefully we can break that down. And I have a couple of debates that I want to show off too that I did a couple of months ago or whatever. So that kind of like bring it. That's gonna be over here, but what he's talking about is gonna be on his channel. Make sure you sub to Corrections. Even though he's my co-host, he has his own channel. He's gonna be bringing out his own content, and you need to sub to his channel as well. So let's get this started first. KFAR, you got anything going on you want to talk about before we get started?
At the moment, I've got nothing. Shocker, but I've got nothing. I'm actually smooth sailing for like the last 2 weeks. Finally got out of all the nonsense.
Are you
No
comfortable in your
babies, no
short
kiddos,
shorts
nothing.
tonight?
Wait, what?
You don't talk about no kiddos, no babies, nothing. You got no puppies.
Nope. Getting chickens on the 22nd, maybe. Maybe getting a bird or a mouse. I don't know.
Jeez.
Starting a zoo.
There you go. There you go. Petting zoo. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Well, so like I said, this is gonna be a little bit of getting to know our corrections officers and getting to know what an inmate goes through. So we're gonna start off with corrections, and could you go ahead and talk about what exactly led you to become a corrections officer, and talk about your first day? You can make it short, quick, however you want. Just go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I actually started in corrections back in 2000. It would have been 2002. I was actually a police officer at the time, in a small town, and just to pick up extra work and everything to supplement my income, I was working part time at a jail as a correctional officer. And so I got my first taste then, and I decided that I wanted to kind of do a different avenue in life for a little while. I went into the logistics industry for about 13 years. And then I decided about 5 years ago, I was like, I kind of really miss being in law enforcement, corrections, and then in the whole field. And so while I was working my undergraduate degree in law enforcement and justice administration. I decided to get back into corrections and been there about almost the last 5 years. And, and I love it. It's not the hardest job to be a correction officer, but it's hard to be a really good one. And that's something that I really try to be all the time. As far as craziest day,
No, don't go to your craziest day now. Just your first day. I want to know about your first day. Your
oh, my
first day,
first day. I'm
green
sorry.
rookie, first day. Your bright lights. You don't know what's going on. You're thinking that the inmates are going to be calling you fish or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
your first
So
day.
I didn't. Yeah, my first day. So we didn't. It was at a sheriff's department at a jail, and we didn't go through the academy right away, right? So they sent us to jail school, after we started. So the first day, you don't know what the heck to expect, and it's like, oh boy, what's going to be happening? And luckily, I had a really good team around me that just didn't throw me right into the shark tank right away. Got to observe and everything, and really, it was eye opening. It wasn't a wild first day. Actually, the first week wasn't even really wild. It was a lot of learning, a lot of safety protocol, learning the system, learning schedules, learning transports, learning all just the basic safety stuff. I mean, you don't if you don't dot any I or cross any T, it can seem so little of a mistake that you're making that can turn into a major issue and safety securing for not only you and your officers, but for other inmates and for the safety and security of the facility. So it's just really that first, week it's just really just beating into you, safety, and just double checking everything that you do, and then of course just a lot of report writing, as KFAR knows. It's just report,
So you
report,
you
report, report.
so you see your first day was pretty uneventful.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll go with that. KFAR, what led you to corrections? And tell me about your first day.
So what led me to corrections was the place I started working at. They had a program where if you worked for a year and a half, in the jail, they would sponsor you to go to the academy so that you could be a police officer there. So I'm just like, dope. So that's what led me to that. Initially, that's not at all what I wanted to do, but I'm like, I can do this for like a year and a half, and then be an officer. Well, people decided they didn't want to retire, so we were all stuck back there for like 2 years. My first day, just because of who I am, I kind of tried to throw myself at as many of the situations as I could, just so I could figure it out. So, like, I talked about booking in like one of my last videos, fingerprinting and all that stuff. I was doing that from like day one, but it was really uneventful because I think they started us working like on a Monday, and nothing ever happens on a Monday. But my first week, corrections kind of hit it on the head about safety. My first week, I think it was within the first like 3 days, one of the chicks that had been working there for the longest time, she kind of threw, I don't know, protocol out the window. You're supposed to have your hair up if you're a female. She had it in a long ponytail, and we had 3 cells in the front: juvenile, female, and then like the kind of like the male. We called it detox because that's where we just do the drunk people. And then we had 10 in the back. We had a bigger lady in the female cell. Well, one of my coworkers who was trying to show us what's up, chick knocked on the door. She kind of unlocked it a little bit, put her head near the crack. Old girl grabbed her ponytail, yanked her in the cell, and just started beating her. So me and 2 other people that had been there for a while just automatically ran in there to get her off of her. And another new guy that was training with me was supposed to hold the door. He did not do a very good job of holding the door. He actually started running around the hallways because we had the front was a big L. He was just running back and forth like a chicken with his head cut off. That was actually his last day because he quit after that. But yeah, that really, it really put in my head of like, oh wow, this could really go south in 2 seconds.
That was your first week.
That was my
This
that was
or
my
your
first
first day.
week. That was my first week.
I see. Well, my first day going into the county jail was simply the booking process. And let me tell you guys, if you guys have never done booking process, God, L.A. County Jail sucks booking. I got in there. No lie, I got in there 6 p.m. It's around 6 p.m. I got started the booking process. I didn't end my booking process till 5 a.m. the next morning, and I still did not have a dorm or a place to sleep in. It was all holding cell after holding cell after holding cell. Dingy, musky, terrible. Uh, it was bad, but it wasn't a dungeon, and definitely wasn't. I didn't have torture cuffs on the whole time. Um, I think the worst part is the first shower that they make you take, where they bring you in and you're just like kind of like a shock to the system because you're not used to, you know, just taking off your clothes in front of a bunch of men. Like it's like they tell you, all right, take them off, and you're like, oh, what? Like, can I leave my underwear on? Like, nah, they don't let you do that. So it's like take it all off, go take a shower. You go into the shower, and it's like I wasn't ready for this, and you do it real fast, and then you go to the next station, the next station, the next station, until you're done with the booking process. And as crazy and as you know busy as that was, uh, it did take a very long time. And then finally, when they finally did take me to the place where I was gonna stay for my stay. uh, it was strange. It was really strange after the whole booking process. But yeah, the booking process was something that like I'll never forget, man. I never thought it was that much work. I never thought it was that much to do just to book somebody into jail. I never thought you had to do like all these different like medical things, and they took X-rays and all kinds of stuff. Man, it was crazy. Um, but yeah, that was my first day. That was my first day in jail. Now, moving on, we got my next thing that I wanted to ask you guys is what what was your process, and we'll start with KFARR this time. What was your process on getting your work day going? Like, what was your process to like go from being this person who like felt like shit was gonna go down to being a person who was like ready and prepared for anything to happen?
So I hated working day shift, which was 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., 3 p.m. I hated working afternoons, so I always worked 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., specifically Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where all of the shit went down. So every time I came into work, there was always several people waiting to get booked or fighting in the back. Because that's always when people drink, and we had a giant bar in the city that I worked in, so there was always drunk people in the back. So my day always started off with going back and actually getting right to work because my coworkers apparently sucked at their job. Unfortunately, that's the way that it goes sometimes.
Yeah. You gotta get the best coworkers.
Yeah, I got the best coworkers, and they worked midnights with me, but all the other shifts kind of were slackers and just waited for us to come in to do everything.
So, so like it, yeah. So basically, you got used to working, with bad workers. But what is it like? Did you have a moment where like what I mean is that like we all have those moments where we're green, right? Whatever we're doing, whatever we're working at, we're not exactly comfortable in our settings. We're not like, oh, this is a this is me, like feeling good when I'm going to work and stuff like that. When like how is it that you became from somebody who was nervous? Because I would imagine that you're nervous, right? You've seen a lot of crazy shit. How'd you go from that to like being like the guy that just like bam, like I walk in and I'm like I'm good, like I can do my rounds and stuff like that, and I don't, it's not the same as it was the first day, or even like a year. Like say the first year's over, you're into the second year. You did you ever feel comfortable in your settings, in your surroundings?
I felt probably after like a year and a half, I was pretty comfortable, just because I'm a bigger guy. Um, the thing that kind of like jumped, obviously after the first week, I was kind of like, okay, got to be a little careful. Um, what really broke it for me, where I'm like, I can either be extremely nervous around these people or be confident. Um, at 7 a.m., we have to wake everybody up to go to court. The courthouse was right next door to us. It was gated in the same like complex, and we had to walk all of the people that were brought in the night before, the day before, depending on paperwork. Two of us would have to line up 10 to 20 people, handcuff them to a chain, walk them over to court, go in the back door, and try not to die.
Oh shit! What happened to corrections? He'll be
Yeah,
back. He'll be back.
he gone.
He'll
But
be
yeah,
back.
it kind of brought into my head like I can either be really nervous about this or try to be. I try to treat everyone like a person for the betterment of them and me. Some people you couldn't do that with, but after a couple months of doing that, I'm just like, you know what? I'm pretty comfortable doing this specific task because you've done it enough, and then you have shitty coworkers. That again, I had terrible coworkers. They were all like 5'2", trying to fight people every day, and I'm just like, hey, yeah, I don't want to fight
That's
people every day. That's kind of not what I
you
want
know
to do.
that's one thing that kind of always tripped me out. It's like you had the COs like in my time when I was in, I was like you had the COs that were like rough and tumble guys that were waiting for something to pop off, and it's weird because it's like those are either young guys like really young guys or like these really rough dudes, right? And they have this mentality like they want things to happen. I don't know how I don't know what how things were run in your jail exactly. And of course in LA County we have the politics, right? You have
Yeah,
the South Siders, the you know like you have the all the different basically the races. It's all a race thing, right? So you got the blacks, and then you got the others, which is you know Asians, Hawaiian, Samoans, and all that stuff, and then you got the Southsiders, which is the Mexican Americans, and then you got the Paisas, which are the Mexicans or the people who are going to be deported. Uh, so in the jail where I was at, there was always like you know uh, tension, whatever. And my first few months were nothing but tension because it's like you can't. I did all the wrong things. First of all, when I walked in, I had no idea that I wasn't supposed to like make deals with people and stuff like that. So my first like few weeks, I was like messing up crazy. I was like I went to a black guy and I told him, hey man, you want to trade for lunches and stuff like that, and I was like, people were just like were like I was ready to get jumped. Basically, they were gonna kick my ass for doing a bunch of dumb things in there. I
they
went to
were
the
all playing
bars.
politics, and you were just trying to get through comfortably.
Yes, yeah, and the thing is that like since I'm not a racist guy, and I have and this is gonna sound racist, but I have black friends, and so
Good.
it's funny because it's like I felt comfortable to be like to go up to different people and be like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? What's up? You know, whatever, you know. And I'm over here just being friendly, and everybody's just looking at me with evil eyes, and I don't know why. And then I did the worst thing I could possibly do. I went to the bars to where like the front where the I don't know how you had it, but there was usually a guard that would be like in the main station in the middle, right? Like to open doors, close the doors, stuff like that, right? And so whenever you go to that guy and ask for stuff, you would have to ask like a rep to go do that for you. Well, this is in the county jail in LA. You would have to ask somebody to ask him. You couldn't just go yourself. And I went straight up to the bars and I told him, "Hey, guy," and so I had everybody like ready to like destroy me. And I just got super lucky that like right at that moment I got taken out of that cell to be sent to a lower level because I had I had started off like really high, you know, like when they first put your chargers on, and then like they
Mhm.
give you like this stack like charge thing, and I had like a bail of like something like $500,000 or something like that, but that wasn't it. The judge kind of like brought it down off of my first, but when I came back from that court case, they brought it down, so they brought down my level, and then they had to take me out of that dorm. and I got out just in time before I was gonna get like absolutely like beaten down and stuff like that. It was real though, because they had told me later on, like I got word from other people. Um, you never had to deal with anything like that as far as like politics were concerned and stuff like that.
In mine, no. We had where I worked. We basically had drug dealers who all kind of hated each other, but because we had individual cells, we didn't really run into any issues. We only had to like double or triple up in the cells a few times since when I was working there. Drug dealers, white trash people, and
Oh boy.
drunks. Drunks hate everyone. Drug dealers are drug dealers. That's what they're there
Right.
for. And then the white trash people always came in, and I think I had a more problem with the white trash people than anything else because they always came in and it was almost the same person or same people week after week. And every time you'd see them, they would kind of like blame you because you're always there when they came in. And they would always get like confrontational about it. And it's just like, bro, I'm not the one who beat your wife. You beat your wife for the 5th week in a row. Like, that's not my fault. Like, I didn't put you here.
Yeah, that's one thing that I could not like understand as far as like when I was in there, like there was a lot of guys who would have animosity towards like the either the corrections officers or the sheriffs, and I'd be like, dude, like why are you trying to make your life harder? Like they're in charge of moving you from place to place. I would not want to make their life harder. You know what I mean? Like
At the end of
there
the
was there,
day, like, you in jail don't want to be there. You in prison don't want to be there. And the people
right,
who are working there, like inmate or like the jailers, prison guards, and whatnot, they're just trying to get through the day as easy as possible. Like that was my thinking of I'm going to try to get through this and making it easy on me and easy on the people who are there and don't want to be, so that everybody gets to go home. You get to go to bed at night with a full stomach. You got your juice, you got your water, you're good. I'm good. We didn't have to fight. That was my whole goal. And it just doesn't make any sense to be constantly confrontational with each other because it doesn't help anyone. More than
right,
likely,
yeah, it
I'm
doesn't.
going to get hurt. I'm going to get hurt beating you up, and you're going to catch additional charges for trying to fight me.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've been listening corrections. I know you fell off. Did you catch some of the stuff we were talking about? If you're there.
Technical difficulties. I know how this
Oof.
goes.
Yeah. Well, while you're getting your stuff together, yeah. So I in like I said, in LA County, it's all about the politics and getting through that part. Um, Now, like you said, I tried my best to make things easy, but also I was a trustee. Now I don't know how your trustee situation works over there. I became a trustee maybe like 2 3 months in. Um, and that life is a little bit different than your regular, like jail life because you do work, get a couple of privileges here and there. It's not like, oh, you're living the life, right? It's not like you're living the life in jail, but you get a couple of things that you wouldn't get normally. Um, and as a trustee, I got to talk to a lot of the corrections officers. I got to like mingle with them and stuff like that. They would take work spot to different work spots and stuff like that. Um, did you ever have to do that kind of detail?
I never had to do anything like that. No. Um,
What's up, dummy?
yeah, Dummy Kruger's here.
That's my boy.
You went, big time, bud. Um, yeah, no, I didn't really have anything where I worked. Like, it was in the back of a police station. So at maximum, normally we'd hold you for 3 to 5 days a week if we got the paperwork correct. Just because we were so close to actual jails. Like, where I worked was only like a few miles from Dickerson, which is in Detroit, which is our like big like prison. That's where we sent all of our felonies who were waiting on trial or got convicted. We also sent people like way up north to just like the county jails for like misdemeanor stuffs or misdemeanor stuff. So we never really had anybody for that long to have anything cool like that.
So you didn't do trustee stuff. You didn't do any work stuff or anything like that. You guys were in charge
No,
of doing all the cleaning.
no, yeah, I didn't have to do any cleaning unless, God forbid, something wild happened on my shift. We had it was the weirdest system. We had the police chief's dad. Yeah, I think it was the police chief's dad ran all of like the work detail.
Oh
And I'm
shit.
just like, this is weird. But he was like a cool dude who came in and just did everything. And I'm just like, all right, bro, like, you know where everything's at.
That's well shit, dude. I mean, I guess maybe because LA County is in like a much bigger like jail system.
So
Probably that's why it's run like that.
when you were
It's
talking about the process that you had to go through, that's
yeah.
exactly how Dickerson was downtown for us. So when we would send somebody there, you could get bonded out. And people would be like, well, they just left your jail. Can we go bond them out right now? I'm like, they ain't booked in. Go tomorrow. Like, it's going to be a minute. It was like that for our felonies. It was like that for any place of any decent size. Takes forever. Like for me, I could get a booking in process done with my partner that I'm trying to get on stream with me one of these days. We could get somebody booked in like 20 minutes, 30 minutes if we were trying to take our time. But then sometimes, because of how many people would be there, it would take us 2 hours. But that was like max, unless they were trying to fight us and we're like, they can cool off for 12 hours. We had a pretty good system because we could only have, I think we could probably have maybe 40 people max at a time. Maybe 50 or 60. Let's 50 or 60. So we could get it done fairly quick. But even the jails and prison where I was, it was an all-day process.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the booking process just completely astonished me, dude. I never expected something like that to take so long. It was so. But and then there's certain little moments that kind of stick to you, and I think this is where Chili kind of like he kind of loses his mind, or thinks that this is stuff that like that goes on everywhere or whatever. It's like in LA County, it's so packed, right? It's so packed when people are getting booked in. They do this thing called ass to nuts. You get on a bench. It's like four benches, and you have to sit on the benches, and basically what you're doing is you're sitting kind of what do you say, a cowboy style on the bench. Yeah, yeah. And the guy in front of you, right? You have to be so close to him that you're supposed to put your nuts on his ass. That's supposedly what's supposed to happen. But of course, the guards are just messing with you. You don't have to be that close, but just close enough that you have to squeeze in. And so that's one of those things that I think that he like loses his mind over, because he's like, oh, they're like he's always talking about the ass thing, right? Because that's one of the ones that I felt was like, oh man, like I don't want to do this. Like I don't want to be here, but at the same time, of course, I messed up. I'm there. And then there's another moment where of course you have to strip down and you have to do the spread them. But like that experience is not what he makes it out to be. It's not as pleasant as it is for the guards themselves. Like nobody is having a good time during that moment. It's just
So
it
I
has to be
saw somebody
done.
talking about broken system, broken trust in the chat. He talks about showing dudes his asshole all the time when he was in jail. And he always comes at me because he's like, "Oh, you probably remember the names of all the people that you've had to strip search." And I'm just like, "No, it's not really like an experience that you want stuck in your head." So you're not like, nothing beats
No,
taking a drug dealer who knows he's got a felony hanging on his head and going, we're going to have to strip search you because we found you with X amount of drugs in the car. Come into this room. Like, let's do this real quick so this isn't as awkward as it has to be. But he acts like the prison guards are getting their jimmies off by strip searching people.
hey, Fire Ranger. Hey, I don't like KFARR said. These are experiences that I don't really want to remember. I want to share them because I know that these are things that a lot of people in our community don't go through, because
So
we got.
everything you're talking about, the stripping down, the butt to nut, that's all military stuff as well. So
Huh. There you
I'm
go.
like, I understand exactly what you're talking about. Not because I was in jail, but because I was in the military.
Well then, that actually makes me feel better. Like as far as the I guess you could say the humiliation. I guess I don't really want to call it humiliation because it's not like I was there by myself, right?
No,
It's more or less
it was
like
a group activity.
yeah, and it's just not a comfortable one. That's it. It's not something that you want to tell everybody about. And
Yeah,
I
and you don't want to do it every day, but
exactly don't want to do it every day. But yeah, that stuff was probably like the worst stuff, and that's the reason why I'm bringing it up is because the way Chili talks about jail and about the way he says that they want to look up your ass and stuff like that. Nobody wants to look up your ass. No guard. None of them want to look up your ass. They'd have to do it. It's part of the job, but they don't
mhm.
want to do it. I actually had one time when I was a trustee, seen when they actually found somebody that had contraband up their butt where they had to make them poop it out, and nobody was happy. No, not a single person in that room was cracking a smile. They were upset. They were like, get it out. They're like do what you got to do, and they were just staring at him. It sucked because it's like I wasn't trying to stare at them, but I could smell what was happening, and it was not fun.
Yeah, that's like so I was basically intake right off the street. So you would come in, so I would be in my head you find less contraband. The further you go in the system, the less you're going to find in or on someone when you go to check them. So from pulling people right off the street, I have found a lot of things in a lot of inappropriate places that I did not think I would find things. I've found it's called a prison wallet. I found a very small gun in lady parts. Well, not me personally, but my female coworker who had to do the search. We've found lots and lots and lots and lots of drugs in several places. Shoot, I did a video. I did a video probably 6 months ago. They found cocaine in some dude's foreskin
What?
while they did their search in the jail, and I'm just like, why? Like, at no point have I ever thought, you know what, I'm going to put this in my prison wallet. At no point
That's
did
not.
I think of that.
That's not even like a prison wallet. That's like a what is that? Like a sleeve? No.
Yes, a sleeve. That's the perfect word for it.
that's like that's like that little pocket in the jeans.
Yes. I literally showed the video. It wasn't even a good video. I specifically showed it because they're like, and then they found X amount of grams in the man's foreskin. And I'm just like,
What? Grams? This guy had grams? Jeez, how
hey,
much space you
hey,
got in there, buddy?
I don't know. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
Like, dude, like, not even, dude, grams. Holy cow! Like, jeez, like he must have like it must have been a really cold day.
And I'm just like, something like that. It just shocks me what people are willing to do to not face the consequences of their actions. Like
Yeah, it's crazy. There we go. Corrections is just having all kinds of problems today. I don't know what's happening.
hey, we're a fraud wrangler was no, actually, it was a younger white guy who put the drugs in his foreskin.
Wow, I would have thought he was Mexican.
Nope, nope, looked like a frat boy white guy. Oh my
Wow.
lord, I was just about to say something good. What was it? Uh Yep, I got nothing. My brain's not what it used to be.
Hey, Florida Wrangler and Stephanie and who else did I say I was going to give a wrench to? You guys are getting your wrenches. I just can't do it right now. I've been trying to this whole time we've been talking. I've been trying to give you guys the wrenches, but I can't do it from here. But when I get back onto YouTube, I will give you all of you guys your wrenches. I promise you, you will not be wrenchless by the end of today. Okay, promise you. I promise. The only thing I wish is that we can get corrections over here because this show was supposed to be getting to know our corrections 101. That's why I wanted KFARR here because he had his experience in corrections. I was gonna talk a little bit about my jail stuff, but not a lot. I didn't want to get into it that much. I just wanted to like say a couple things like so that to debunk some of that chilly stuff. Like if for some of the people who've never been to jail or known about the strip searches and all that stuff. But yeah, yeah, corrections, come back, corrections. We need you.
Yeah, chilly makes it sound like when you go to jail, even jail to my extent, right off the street where you're just sitting in a cell waiting to see the judge, that the prison guards are just having their way with you. And they're chaining you to a wall and just having their way with you. And I'm just like, well, that's not at all what happens in jail. Like, I don't know what jail he went to.
Yeah, no, well, of course, when I found out that he was in Southern California, I was like, excuse me, sir.
He went to
I
the BDSM prison.
yeah, he swears that they're like, oh, they're trying to touch your butthole and stuff like that. Like, dude, hell no. Even if they do find something, it's like they're not trying to dig in there. It's like you gotta get it out. Like it's like you're put on the spot and you got to get it out.
You
It's
give
not
a good squat and cough, and if there's anything noticeable, I go, here's a pair of gloves. Good luck. I'll put it in the evidence bag and let somebody else deal with it.
Corrections, are you with us? Are you with us? Show us a sign of life. Corrections.
I rebooted everything, and I'm hoping it's going to get better here.
Yes.
Well, it's nice to hear your voice, man.
What's that?
I said it's nice to hear your voice.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, talking about like a contraband and finding that stuff, KFAR probably had the same thing. I mean, as soon as they bring in an offender or somebody in the jail, I always gave them, this is your one chance. If you got it on you, give it up now. We won't charge you. And many of those times they'll just go ahead and just say, yeah, I got stuff on me. I don't want a felony bringing contraband into a
Yep.
correctional facility. That goes a long way, and they lots of times they'll just go ahead and cop it up, and I don't want any part of this smoke. I'm here on a misdemeanor. I don't want a felony off of this.
Yeah, you would have no idea how many people that would come in for just a simple driving without a license. And then the officer's like, we saw him put something in his pants real quick as we were walking up. We're going to have to strip search him. And then sure as shit, it's like, oh, this is actually drugs. Like, what are you doing? You turned a small charge into something significant.
Erica,
Right.
I would ask you to give me a specific question. And anybody in the chat who has a specific question for KFAR for corrections, just go ahead and put it in the chat, and we'll get to it. Okay? Just you guys go ahead and put any question you guys have been thinking about it. Just put in there as far as the corrections and my jail time is concerned. Anything you guys want to ask about that stuff, just put it in the chat, and we'll get to it. Sorry about that. Go ahead, corrections.
No, I was just going to say, what's so important about drugs nowadays, too, is with the fentanyl so prevalent with everything, we have to try to really catch everything that we can, especially with counterfeit pills and everything, because, I mean, someone could think they're just, sneaking in a Xanax or whatever, and it's a counterfeit pill laced with fentanyl. Next thing we know, we have someone ODing and we're having to give Narcan, and which we've had to do before. And it's a scary situation for everybody.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you did you finish?
I was gonna say something, but I was like mid coffee. We had to Narcan one of our officers once because I'm very, very, very like not by the book per se, but like I'm very specific about how I handle certain things. If I'm searching anyone's property, I'm wearing gloves or multiple gloves. Because I've found absolute just nonsense drugs wise. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to die in jail while not being in jail. You know what I mean? We had recently where I work, so nobody knows where I work. It's a company secret because someone may go and harass that place. But they had a officer who had somebody come in fairly recently because I still have snitches who work there. Just got fired because somebody said as he was bringing him like, oh, I think I ate some drugs, which it's not really like you think you ate some drugs. Like, did you or did you not? The officer was like, yeah, he probably didn't. He probably just wants out of jail. Well, they ended up having to take him to the hospital, and some things happened, but it's like at any point somebody could really try to hide it. And that's when, like Correction said, you ask them up front, like, hey, what are we dealing with? And if they say, yeah, I ate the drugs to try to get out of it, isn't Suboxone used to get off drugs? Yes, but it's still sketchy. But yes, we've had to send so many people to the hospital to get their stomach pumped before they die because they're just like, I decided to eat this bag of cocaine. And it's like why?
Oh, dang, Corrections. Get it together, man.
I'm trying to hold it down for you. I'm trying.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great, KFARR. I wasn't expecting this for him to be gone this long. So like my questions, I'm rummaging through them, like and I'm like I'm redoing everything on the fly here. So no
So
worries.
let's reverse this. Let me ask you some questions.
Go ahead.
How was the food situation where you were
It
at?
sucked. I gotta say, as far as the food situation, it started off terrible, and I've never been in a situation where I've gone hungry up until that point. Because up until that point, I never had that the moment where I couldn't eat something, and so when my first month was going on, I I didn't know what to eat. There was a few things that I could eat. Like they have like chicken patties, I guess every once in a while. They would have like some pasta, I guess, like some weird really bland pasta that I could eat. But I would say like 2 days out of the week, I wouldn't eat because it was like some weird nasty stuff that I couldn't digest, that I couldn't even start to eat. And so my first month was terrible. I lost weight. I was doing really bad. And the reason being is that I had made a lot of enemies because I was like doing the wrong things. And
Yeah.
then the people who were supposed to be taking care of me didn't know whether they should or not, because if they did, they probably would have got in trouble with
They'd be
like
in the
the
same boat as you.
yeah, exactly. So I was doing really bad the first month. Then when I got out of it, and they put me in another dorm where there was other people who were a little bit more, they gave me the rules, they
Chill
gave
and
me the rundown a
relax.
little bit easier, huh?
Were they more chill and relaxed when you got transferred?
Yeah, because they transferred me to what's called the old man's dorm, which is like
They're not trying to have
basically
no problems.
yeah, no politics. There was no politics, no like don't talk to blacks or whites, stuff like that. It was just basically, though, as long as you don't steal nothing, you'll be fine. And they basically broke down everything, the politics. They broke down the situation with how to talk to the guards and stuff like that in front of everybody. And then when it came down to the food, they introduced me to what is called the spread. The spread is the thing that is going to keep you going in jail when you're in LA County jail. Basically, all it is top ramen soup, any top
Of
ramen
course.
soup with your choice of mixings. You could have a breakfast spread, which is boiled eggs and top ramen with mayonnaise, mustard, a bunch of seasoning. It sounds horrible. It's more
No,
delicious than you
so
think.
I'm going to tell you this right now. The only reason I asked you this is because everything you're saying is exactly like the military. Um,
Oh
for long
no!
stretches, the food was so bad you would go to the ship store that we had because I was on a carrier, so it was gigantic. We would eat them out of the ramen noodles, the canned chicken, the expired Slim Jims and protein bars. Um, at my jail, we had specifically frozen sandwiches. Other jails in the area had like restaurants that were near them bring in their leftover food at night, and they'd pay them for it, and they'd get like restaurant food. We had frozen ham, ham and cheese, bologna and cheese, turkey and cheese sandwiches with like that kind of ghetto gallon juice you get from like Walmart.
Oh yeah, yeah, but
That was the drink. That was the
yeah, yeah,
drink. You
yeah.
got one cup with every meal, and then you got to keep the cup, and you could just refill it with water. Um,
Yes, yes.
my
That was
coworkers
that's
thought they
that's
were
exactly how it
disgusting
was.
because they're like, "Oh my god, that's so gross." I would eat them because I'm like, "Bro, this is just like the military. Like these are the exact sandwiches we ate when we were doing unrep, and somebody'd have to bring like a bag lunch to station because you couldn't leave. That's what I
Yeah,
was
no,
eating."
Yeah,
And
dude. And then
all the boxes in the military literally say for prison or military use only. So I was just so used to it.
dude. And then later, like when I started getting more comfortable and I started getting care packages, I did start getting packages, but only this was only like maybe like 3 months in because my peoples didn't know how to work the their system to
Yeah,
put
it's
money in my
complicated.
books. Yeah, and this was even before it was. I think it's easier now because they have like a kiosk and stuff. We had to do bubble sheets and stuff. It was terrible. But when I finally got
Here, hold on 1 second. I can still hear you, but I'm going to walk 5 feet over there and pour me some more coffee.
oh, you're good. Yeah, you're good. Don't worry. This is for the chat anyways. Um, when I started getting my bubble wraps and my bubble sheets, and I started getting my commissary. Uh, I started getting all hoity toity with my sandwiches because I was able to get pepper jack cheese. I was able to get like hot Cheetos and stuff like that. And just a bunch of like little snack foods that you take for granted, like at the 7-Eleven, like beef jerky stuff like that. And I would just turn that stuff into gourmet stuff. Like I'd be like making my sandwiches into double decker like layer sandwiches and stuff like that. Sometimes if we got lucky and say we would get like a salad with our chicken sandwiches or whatever, I'd save it so I could put it on my sandwich for the next day. Put like little tomato and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If the guards are being cool to me, they'll give me an onion so I could chop it up and put it into my sandwiches. Little things like that became they became so precious. You know what I mean? Because it's like when you're on outside or whatever, you don't realize like food, the taste and stuff like that. Like you take for granted those little things like the onions, the tomatoes that you put in stuff. And it's like you want them so bad in jail because it's like everything's so bland and like it doesn't have any taste. And if it does have taste, it's so disgusting. You don't want to touch it. But once you get those seasonings from the soups and all that, it's like it's on. You're just like I went, I was like I think I lost maybe like I want to say 20 to 25 pounds like that first month. Then the next month, no, actually by the fourth month I started gaining weight. Then by the sixth month I was back to my regular weight because I was just pounding top ramens and whatnot. I was going
And
crazy
that
just eating
shit,
stuff. And
you don't think top ramen will put weight on you, but because of how much sodium you're taking in every day, anything you eat or drink just sticks.
yeah, it's crazy. No, dude. And then I became a cook basically for the dorm when my imagination started going off because I of course everybody follows the same like formula when it comes to the spreads. It's just you just make the top ramen, you put some chips in it, maybe some like seasonings, whatever, right? But I started getting creative with it. I started making nachos. Like I would get the cheese from like the Velveeta cheese, and then we would find like there would be like a socket that would be like open and broken, and we use it to melt the cheese, and then we would put the cheese in on the spread, and then we would get flour tortillas and make them into like burritos and stuff like that. Dude, we were off the chain making things. It's like, well, that was our dorm. Like the trustee dorm. All we had was food to play with because we weren't gonna be able to go do anything else. I mean, they would give us yard every once in a while, like where we would go play basketball or whatever. But the yard in these facilities aren't exactly what you would consider a yard. It's more like a car garage with little like areas that look like handballs and like handball areas and like maybe like a little rim that might look like a basketball court or whatever, or use your imagination or whatever, right? But yeah, that was basically the yard. So we never really did too much yard. My favorite stuff was like when I finally got to do like yard work outside, like in the we would go to like the fields and stuff like that around the area because I went to a place called Pitches Detention Center, which is a big facility for the county jail of LA. And if you're gonna do like a year, whatever, you go there, and it's like basically like a big camp. It's a big camp, and you just it's camp. It's basically a camp for people who are in trouble. It's not I wouldn't say it's exactly fun, but it's better than being in the LA Men's
Yeah.
County Central Jail where people are stacked together and nothing's fun and people are angry and upset with each other and you can't get out and see the sun. you most definitely can't get out and see the sun because it's just basically one big building. So the main yard is all the way at the top of the building, and the other parts of the building are like basically all like the same looking. They all look pretty much the same, like in a little hexagon shape, and everybody pretty much is like in the same kind of cell, except of course you got the holes, which is another thing I was going to ask you guys about is the holes, the detentions, the when they get into trouble, when you have to put them into the
The
call it
security
the holes. I don't know
cells.
what you guys call it. Yeah, like I really thought that was like fucked up. Like as far as like like punishments are concerned, because well, of course the guys there were good guys, but the thing that we were given to eat is was something that they would call like maybe I shouldn't say what it was called, but basically it was called um a bad word, and it was like a cold like mixing of a bunch of side dishes that would be frozen in a little ball, and that's what they would have to eat. Now I have no idea how they would eat it because I just had to give it to them. So that was kind of I thought that was kind of a little bit messed up, but at the same time, these like I said, these guys who were in the hole weren't the nicest guys. They usually did stuff. They caused problems or they were in a big fight or something like that. It was never because they were sweethearts that they were in there.
Yes. I had a weird situation because mine was just so small. I was telling you how we had that L. Well, at the end of the hallway, you had juvenile, which was our like, if you did anything, you got thrown in that cell because we had like in 2 years, I think we had 3 juveniles come in total. So there was never a kid in there. So you'd go in there, window was blocked off, so you couldn't see out. Female was right across from that. And then down the hall, you'd have the detox men's cell, and then it would be a straight shot to the other cells. But right there, as you would turn to go down, that was my office. So the juvenile cell used to have a window into my office that they ended up covering with like 2 or 3 sheets of plywood. And that's where we stuck everyone. And there was cameras in every cell, or at least in the back, they were pointed to the cell so we could see in. In the front 3, they were physically in the cell behind glass that they couldn't break. But yeah, there was an absolute shit show anytime anyone went in there. I have a stupid amount of stories of just stupid people going in there.
Yeah, I seen a bunch of guys that were in there would always because I went once I was a trustee, like where I was real comfortable in the jail and stuff like that, meaning that I was like in my last 2 months, and I was living pretty easy. Every time I would pass by the holes, every time I have some guy telling me, hey man, what are you doing? Hey, could you bring me a juice? Could you bring me a? I'm like, dude, I'm almost out of here, and I am not trying to mess up my time, bro. I'm not bringing you
I'm
nothing.
not
And
trying to
they're
stay
like,
here longer than I have to.
yeah, man. I actually there was actually a trustee. He was so dumb, man. He was before me. He had like about a month left, right? And so he had his we had like a situation where we were supposed to give out chicken sandwiches or whatever. And what he did is that he saved a bunch of the chicken patties, a bunch of them, and then he went to this one guy and he gave them all to this one guy because supposedly this guy was going to help him with something. I don't know what it was, whatever. But he just for these chicken patties, all right, just for these chicken patties, for taking them to this one dude who was like in a high level, gave them to him. He wasn't supposed to have them. They got him. They got him for taking the contraband, giving it to a high level inmate. So they put him in a hole. He was gonna leave in a month. They made him stay in the hole for like 2 weeks, dead time. Uh, then when he came out, they put the charges on him for the contraband. He had to go back to the judge to get sentenced for that. He got sentenced for that. He had a month left, and I at that time had 4 months left. They gave him the extra 4 months. He stayed with me another 4 months when he was gonna leave in a month, dude. And it might have been even like closer than that because once you get to that last week or so or last month or so, they usually like pop you out on that at that month. But he messed up. They and it's like just for chicken sandwiches. This is just for chicken sandwiches. Imagine, I can only imagine if it was like, say, like something more illegal than that. Like so, like some drugs or something.
Drugs or something. Yep.
Yeah, it was bad.
Oh, shoot.
Did you miss my charges? my 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 uh my charges my charges were all I don't know. I mean, it's not that bad. I basically I basically just I went against my job because I was upset. I used to be a security guard, so I worked at a casino. I worked at different places, and I ended up working at Union Pacific. I got upset because they were treating us like trash. They were treating all the security like trash. They were giving us very when I first got in there, they were paying us more than minimum. Then a new contract came in and they were paying us less than minimum. Well, not less than minimum, but at minimum. And we felt it was messed up because we were taking care of like $1 million containers and all this stuff. And we're like, hey guys, you guys got to pay us because we're over here doing the job for you guys. And you guys like don't care about us. And basically they told us to shove off. And since I was a hothead, I was very angry at the time, and I was like, this isn't fair. I did something stupid, and with my colleagues, we got together and we basically took what they wanted us to protect, and it wasn't right. It wasn't the way to handle that. That's basically what I did. I just basically went against my job, and I let a bunch of containers go to show them a lesson, and they showed me a lesson by saying that when you let containers go because you want to be a jerk like that, they're on you. So it's like you stole them. So they charged me for conspiracy to commit theft, and I got what did I get? I got a 5 year sentence, suspended 4, did a year, and I would say I'm actually better for it. Not that I'm glad that I did that, but I think that I'm better for it because it's like I got to learn a lot of things that I probably would have never have seen myself. I probably would have been just as naive about certain things than a lot of people normally are because they don't see those things. Because I really never got into trouble before that. I basically I think the worst thing that ever happened to me was I think I was trespassing in school by accident. That was the worst thing that happened to me, like the worst run-in with cops. So this was like I went from never doing nothing, not having no record, nothing, to straight up having a big time felony, record. They If it wasn't for two people, the public defender that was on my case, and the judge, um the prosecutor wanted to throw the book at me. If it was up to the prosecutor, he would have had me go in for like about 3 years with a 10 year suspended sentence. Uh,
Jesus.
the judge was like, he was basically told the prosecutor, you're nuts, and said, we're not going to do that. And then when the public defender offered what he offered, everybody was okay with that, and so we went with that. I did 5 years of probation, uh, didn't get into any trouble, didn't do anything wrong, and I finished it. I did my 5 years. I did my year in jail. I learned my lesson, and not only that, but I learned how the justice system works, and I learned that public defenders are not public pretenders. They're actually like trying to get you off, and if you actually work with them and you actually deal with them in a very professional way, they will help you in every way possible. My public defender, and I said this plenty of times, I wish I would have got his number. I wish I would have stayed in contact with him because he was such a smart dude, and he gave me so much information. Like I owe him so much because he definitely like did a lot for me in the sense that he kept me informed. He told me everything that was going to happen. He told me like what was next and what we were going to go through, and he basically helped me out every way possible, and I thank him. I wish every day that I could have kept his number. And of course, the judge was. I mean, that's the other thing too. The judges aren't just like, I mean, yeah, they're neutral, but at the same time, they're not blind. They're not. They're not. They're
So
not.
when you talked to the judge, were you a normal human being or were you like a sovereign citizen and were a dick?
I was as normal as you could be, respectful. I never once spoke out of line. I think the only time I actually directly spoke to him was when he asked me questions directly. Like I never really talked to him. My lawyer talked to him for me.
Yeah.
But there was a few times when he wanted to ask me a question directly. One of them was during the sentencing phase, and he basically asked me like, what made you like? What was your main like thing that made you want to do this? Because I ended up, of course, pleading guilty because I basically went with the deal. So I told him, like, I was angry. I was angry. I didn't want to end up doing something like this, but I was just so upset of my situation that I did something stupid, and now I regret it. Of course, I wish I would have never done it, but it's just one of those things where it's like you're so frustrated, you're so upset that you take matters into your own hands, and I just did something very dumb. And so he told me, like he kind of basically said, so you kind of understand, like you got anger issues, right? And I'm all like, yeah, I know that I have anger issues, but mostly it was the impulse. And so he took a minute and he said, okay. And at that time we were at 7 years with a 1 year and the rest all suspended. And then he knocked off two and he said, you can do 5 years probation. And I said yes. And he said, okay. And he gave me the 5 years probation. And after that, it was like smooth sailing because, of course, I never had to go back to court. Everything was done. I just went back, finished my year, and then got the hell out. Did my 5 years probation, and probation is nothing if you're not getting into trouble. Like the only thing that made it kind of hard for me is that I had to pay a restitution. So that monthly payment
And
kind of
that
got
just,
hard.
yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, like I never had any trouble with cops. Even when cops pulled me over and they knew I was in probation, they never treated me like a dick or anything like that. They never said like, "Oh, you're a probationer, or get the fuck out," like no, nothing like that. It was just like, "Are you on probation?" Yeah, okay. What is it for? Conspiracy to commit. Okay, cool. They'll go to back to the car, do the little thing, come back, and and after that, amazingly, the 3 times I got stopped while I was on probation, all warnings, no
Yeah.
tickets, nothing. And so I just that's why I can't see how these guys make it so hard on themselves when you already know you got something on you. Like, just walk, like walk straight, man. I mean, even if you think you're gonna do more crime afterwards, after the 5 years, just chill out. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like just not doing anything crazy. That's all. And even when I did put myself in a situation where I might run into cops, I was like, you know what? Maybe this is not the best idea, especially that I'm on probation. No, maybe I shouldn't. And I made it. I made it through the 5 years, and it's not that I made it because I never got into trouble ever again. Like, never. Like, I got no record after that. The only thing that I got on my record is that situation, and that's basically what was going on. Corrections, you're back, buddy.
Yeah, by the way, I might tell you what, my internet is just so bad tonight. I apologize.
Oh, okay. Well, are you good now? You think you could, you have a
Yeah,
couple?
yeah. Yeah, you brought up a good point about the public defenders. They do a lot of good work, and KFAR was probably in the same boat. We actually get a really good relationship with public defenders because they're just in and out of the jail all the time, meeting with offenders,
Mhm.
and having meetings. And there's lots of times to where they'll come to the control room and ask, "Hey, how's he being? Always being a dick." Okay, I'll have a talk with him, and next thing you know, he's good for the next week because that public
He's,
defender helped
he's
us
not a
out.
dick anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, because that public defender said, "You screw this up, this deal's off the table. This judge won't play." And next thing you know, they're a lot better. So, we have a good working relationship with public defenders, and they do a lot of good work.
Yeah, man. I think that's like the people that kind of like that I really fight for, as far as like what these, like, soft sits and frauditors talk about. Public defenders are one of the guys that I think, get some of the worst, and they greet you with a smile every time. It's like they will get berated and told that they're worthless and that they're no good and stuff like that. And these guys haven't even given them a chance. Like they're barely on their arraignment, and they're already telling them that they want to get them fired because some stupid jailhouse lawyer told them, "Oh, if you fire your public defender, then the judge is going to have to throw out the case because he's going to have to find you another lawyer, and you're not going to be able to get one on time, and so they're going to throw out your case." The most dumbest thing you could do
Yeah,
is listen
that
to a
is
jailhouse lawyer.
that is
That's
legally inaccurate.
Yeah, it's so dumb. The thing is that I can see how some of these guys, like, they take on these different little things because when I was like waiting for my first arraignment, all of them were talking to me like that. Like, oh, I got all the jailhouse lawyers talking to me. Oh, what are you in here for? Oh yeah, and I would tell them, and they'll be like, oh, that's nothing, man, that's nothing. All you gotta do when you see your public defender, tell them that you're gonna plead not guilty and that you're not gonna take any deal and stuff. And like, what are you talking about? Like, like, what do you mean? Oh, no, don't worry about it. Oh, when the judge comes in, tell him that the public defender's not doing his job and get him fired and this and that. I'm all like, what? Like, why? Why would I get him fired? I don't even know who he is. Like, I haven't even met him yet. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And so I basically like ignored everything that they had to say. And then when I got to when I got to meet the first person that was the representative for the defender's office, which you don't exactly get your lawyer right away. You get the like the guy that's like dealing with all the people at the moment.
Yeah,
And so
you see it
he
all the time in
basically,
Zoom court. It's just the public defender for that day. He's not actually your public defender, but he's there to make sure you don't get screwed over that
yeah.
second.
So he's basically giving me the rundown. Shut the fuck up. I'm gonna put a plea of not guilty. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I know your situation. Don't worry about it. We're gonna talk about it later. And you're gonna sit in jail because your bond's super high. Like, don't even think about it. Like, don't tell anybody to bond you out. Anyways, in your case, it's probably gonna be better if you just sit there. So just chill out. And I said, okay, whatever you say, sir. I was like, you got it, man. And yeah, that first dude did that, and then my second time around, I actually met the public defender that I was going to work with, which was my actual lawyer, which was just the awesomest dude, man. Dude is like, I swear to you, this guy is like, he was he knew how to break things down for me, that he made me understand what was going on. And then after that, he told me like every single thing that he wanted to do as far as like my situation and everything. And I just told him straight up everything that was going on. I never like told him a lie or anything. I told him what was going on. He's like, I'm gonna do everything I can for you. He's like, you don't got no record. You shouldn't be here. Like, he was trying to get me out of jail. He was trying to get me out of my own recognizance because I had never been in jail. But the prosecutor would not let up on the fact that I had let out. Well, I should be fair. I did let out over $3 million worth of merchandise. So let's not let's not say that I didn't deserve to not stay in there. Like, that's a lot to lose. So I'm gonna say that I kind of deserved it. I was being a jackass, so I did what I had to do.
Oh boy, yeah, the jailhouse lawyer thing. Fraud at Wrangler has it. There's a reason he's a jailhouse lawyer. Um, you run into this all the time. I've had the absolute displeasure. Um, did you meet any sovereign citizens while you were in, or Moors?
I did. I just didn't know what they were. The like I heard the I'm a free man. The what do you call it? The maritime amnesty law. That's what I heard a lot during that time. I heard yeah, that's what I was at that moment. That's what was hot. That was hot because you would hear them say, when you get over there, tell them, is this a maritime amnesty law? I'm all like, what? Like, is this a tell them that. Ask them if it's a maritime amnesty law. If they can't answer you, they're gonna throw away your case. I'm like, what? What? Nah, I'm not gonna ask them that. I'm not gonna ask them no. Is that? What are you talking about? I got arrested on land. You crazy? I was like, what? And yeah, that was their thing. That was their thing at that time. It was maritime amnesty law, but I didn't know that it was called like sovereign citizen or well, Moors. I hadn't seen no Moors, but I did see like it was like about three white guys that were telling everybody that they're free men on the land, the maritime amnesty law, and then the jurisdiction thing. It was a thing that they didn't want to let go. Was about um oh they have no they really have no jurisdiction because the state can't defeat federal. The federal defeats everything. Then that's one of the things I remember the most is the federal defeats everything, and I'm a citizen of the United States, not of California. So if I'm not from California, then then I can't be prosecuted by California. They're gonna have to take me to the federal court, and they're not gonna take me there because California can't take me there. And it's like, what? Like, dude, like, you know what? I didn't have as much knowledge as I do now about all these things, but even then, none of that made sense to me. Like, I was just
Yeah.
like, no, I'm not that. No, like, I don't even know why you're even bothering telling me this stuff because it just seems dumb to me, and I'm not even gonna go there. So like I said, when I went out to go face the judge and everything, I basically just listen to the lawyer, listen to the people that I needed to listen to, and everything went fine for me. I didn't have any problems. They didn't make things worse for me. They didn't try to like what do they say, railroad you? Like, they didn't try to railroad me or anything. God, corrections. When did he leave?
Yeah, he's been gone a hot minute. I was gonna say because so when I was working, I only ran into probably one actual sovereign citizen who because so I didn't just like hop into this like some people hop into this because they're like, oh, this is a hot topic because of what's his nuts. Oh God, why am I drawing a blank on his name? We all streamed it when he was at trial.
Yeah, Brooks.
Brooks, yeah.
Oh, no,
So
no, that's the wrong button.
I've been watching and like learning about this stuff for 5 years. 5 years or more, probably. I ran into one sovereign citizen who I laughed at because I'm like, yeah, that's not at all how it works. This is why it doesn't work. Just shut up. I had the biggest issue with Moors. Moors would always come in, and Moors in person, if you're white, they are the most racist human beings on the planet.
Oh yeah,
And then they try to use like I'm from Morocco, and I'm just like, that's not what your ID says. I don't have an ID. Well, that's weird because you had a driver's license in your pocket that, strangely enough, has your picture on the front.
Yeah, it's funny how and this is not a jail thing for me, but like experiencing Moors on out here in YouTube and stuff like that. It's funny how they're Moors for as long as it's convenient for them, and then the minute it's not convenient anymore, here comes the license. Here comes the government issued stuff, right? Because it's strange. It's like, what are you trying to get away with, man? Like, like, just
You
go
have
with
a
the
license,
program.
just give it over. It would probably
Yeah.
save you an hour of your day for this traffic stop.
Hey, corrections, are you here?
Yep, I'm here. I'm so mad at my internet tonight. It's never been this bad. Something's going on in the area.
There's some gremlins out there, man. They're messing things up. Uh, dude, I feel like everything got derailed as far as like the way I wanted to structure this, but dude, just you've heard most of the stuff that we've been talking about. Your jail that you work at, is it big? Does it deal with politics? Does it deal with anything like like what I dealt with in L.A. County?
So our jail is rated to hold a maximum of 128. We've had up to over 140 pre-COVID. Right now, we average around between 80 or 90 inmates at a time. So I don't know if you consider that big. I definitely consider, compared to LA County, that's not big. But it's kind of a smaller rural area. We don't have a ton of politics, really. We have a really good relationship with the courts and with probation and everything. One of the things that we do a lot of, I don't know if KFAR ever did a lot of this, is we actually have a really good relationship with the Illinois Department of Corrections, and we actually do a lot of transports to prisons too, to help them out, which I enjoy because we're able to go in there and actually watch the intake process, and they kind of show us around, give us a little bit of a tour. So kind of get to see from an inmate side of, Department of Corrections too, kind of see what's going on too. And it gives us a good pulse too, to when someone comes in and they're getting sent to prison for the first time, and they know what facility they're going to be sent to, and we can kind of tell them a little bit about them and what's going to happen. And kind of gives us a good sense to be able to help them out too. And one thing I wanted to point on too, you were talking about earlier about, COs maybe giving you a little onion here and there. And that's the thing what people don't realize. If you're cool with the guards and you give us an easy shift, you're not giving us a hard time, we don't have problem, helping you out a little bit and trying to make life a little bit easier. I mean, if you're giving us a good shift, we have no problem, being, cool with you guys. We're not going to cross any lines, obviously, but, you know, um, for example, there was a July 4th. We didn't have anything happen for a month. I mean, it was quiet. We had a really good population in our jail. And we actually ended up on, as a Friday night, I worked second shifts. We actually ended up grilling for the entire jail, just saying thank you for not making our lives miserable for the last month. That was a lot of fun to do.
No, but I don't think I ever had a grilling for us. I know they had grill like they would have barbecues like for the sheriffs and stuff. And then if we got lucky and they had their fill, we probably could get a hamburger in there, one or two if we got lucky. But most of the COs that took care of us when I was working were pretty decent guys. There was a few that were kind of like stricklers. They didn't want to mingle with us in the sense that they basically didn't want to be our friends. They would just take us out or whatever. If we did something good, they'd give us a reward, like say um extra food or some time inside the kitchen where it was like more hanging out and stuff like that. We had a little TV. But then there was the other COs or the sheriffs that were more personable. They talked to us, and whenever we had like I remember on my birthday, the sheriff the sheriff guard, the lady, she got me a Burger King, because we had been talking about hamburgers like for like days before that, and so we were arguing about who had the best hamburger, like. And I still think a double Whopper with cheese is one of the best hamburgers you can get out there as far as fast food restaurants are concerned. Um, but she was hung up on the Wendy's burger, which I think is good. I like a baconator, it's cool and everything, but that's like a two biter hamburger. You know what I mean? It's not really like a full hearty hamburger. And I would tell her like double Whopper with cheese. That's what you got to go with, double Whopper with cheese, because it's a big hamburger. You're gonna get all the fixings, tomatoes, cheese, and all that. And I basically explained it to her like that. And so on my birthday, she came with a double Whopper with cheese and a Coke. And I swear it was beautiful. It was like I never ate a hamburger so slow in my life. I took every bite like it was like my last bite. It was beautiful. It was best. It was the best. It was the best. What do you mean
Yeah,
sourdough Jack?
yeah, Jerry. You talk about some of the COs that are overly strict, like to assert authority. It sounds like a certain Georgia transparency.
A real
You know,
tyrant.
yes, yeah, exactly. At our jail, at least, and probably with KFAR in his situation, we like to keep those guys in the control room. Just sit there, push buttons, let us go run the pods, because we're
How,
not about that. We don't want to be hands on tonight. We don't want to be going through all that.
did you
So
guys ever have a situation where like there was a guy like Georgia Transparency like doing that kind of stuff, and you guys had to like rein him in, or like
yes,
Yeah.
you guys want to talk about that?
yep. Yeah,
Go ahead,
I
Jerry.
mean, we
You go
had we
first.
had a guy. Yeah, we had this gung ho guy come in. He was like 24 years old, and he was just straight up. He wanted to go hands on, and he would overly criticize. And oh, you went through that door too fast. You didn't say through before you went through the door, as early as you could. And he was just nitpicking, and he would piss off the inmates so much that we were just like, dude, you got to stop. You got to stop, because you're going to cause a big problem here, and then you're going to have a big problem with us. And basically, it was kind of like a Georgia transparency thing where an inmate, that had been there for 6 months, never had a write up, and just asking, they were on lockdown for 2 days, saying, "Hey, is there any way when you get a chance? I know you guys are busy and everything. Can you just exchange out a book for me?" And he'd be an asshole about it. No, fuck you. Don't come to jail. Sorry, Jennifer. I didn't mean to drop that. But
hey, it's not my stream. Go ahead, let it fly.
Dude, no monetization. No monetization. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, and so it's like, dude, why are you just being such a jerk to these guys, And it just puts a target on their back, and it gets them all riled up and everything. And it's like, bro, we're not about that. Like, it's not like that here, Treated, they're normal human beings, because 90% of these guys that come through the jail when they're off the drugs or off the alcohol or whatever, they're decent human beings that made just a huge mistake. I mean, when they're off the drugs and off the alcohol, they're not bad. I enjoy running pods, going out there and playing cards and talking a bunch of crap, with inmates, inmates against COs, and we generally have a decent time. But yeah, we've definitely had our share, and just like with Georgia Transparency, we're the first ones trying to get them out of the jail, because it's just a hand grenade waiting to blow up with inmates, and that's the last thing we want to do, because freak things happen in fights. I'm sure KFARR can tell you. I mean, when you have to do a cell extraction, you can have the perfect plan, and it just all goes to crap in a second. And freak things happen. You could do the right takedown and everything, and someone's head just hits the wrong spot on the slab. Next thing you know, that you have to take them to the emergency room, and it's just, it's just a bad situation all around. And yeah, so
hits the wrong slab, huh?
Yeah. So I'll tell you 3 quick stories, and then I got to get out of here. So 2 are bad CO stories, and 1 is exactly what corrections is talking about, how you can go in with the best plan and then just shit happens. The first one is where I worked. The first guy that was like, we had 6 trainers for everybody else. The first guy that I met up with, I hated working with him. Our booking room was just a giant room with a desk, a bench, a cell if you got wild or if we had to search you, and the fingerprinting machine. Well, I always ran the fingerprinting machine, so I was the closest person to the individual that was being booked. He would walk back there, even if he had nothing to do with the booking process. Like, you'd have somebody running the computer, me running fingerprints, and he would just walk back there and just like escalate the situation by talking shit, or like getting in the person's face, or just staring at them from across the room like a dick. He actually went on to become an officer where I worked. And the first training officer he had, he was like, "Dick, I'm trying to fight everyone." And the first training officer, like, basically verbally put his dick in the dirt. And he was like, he's actually like a pretty solid officer now. Like, he mellowed right out. He got his junk tossed once, and he's just even. The next one was actually a female who couldn't throw hands, and she would stand behind the desk, which was an L. So you have to get past me around the desk to get to her if you want to fight her. And she would rile them up like 3 feet away from me. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm not trying to do this. She was so bad that she eventually got fired because she just kept escalating things. And it's like, why be a dick to people who were there for driving without a license? Like, in the grand scheme, it's not that big of a deal. They don't have any priors. They don't have drugs on them. They didn't beat their wife. Just talk to him like a human being. And she refused to do that. So she eventually got fired. There was only so many times me and my gigantic 6'4", 340-pound partner, he was a left tackle in college. That's who I worked with every day. So obviously they're going to be like, I'm going to fight the little guy. We got in so many fights because of her, to the point where we're like, we don't want to work with her anymore. Put her to the morning shift. Like, she's not cut out for this. And the last one is we had it's very specialty. It's called MSP Gaming. It was the Michigan State Police Gaming Department. I've never heard of it, but they brought in this drunk older guy from the casino because he had warrants for our city, like legit warrants. Well, we had to rearrest him to take him somewhere else. So he was back there, kind of being a dick, trying to fight people. We've done it 100 times, try to take him down. Thankfully, I left, so I had nothing to do with this situation. I was just there for the planning portion, and I got to watch the video. Perfect plan. They took him down like normal. He fought just enough where he was trying to like move forward to get away. When they took him down, smacked his head right off the corner of the fingerprinting machine, cut his face all up.
Oh, dang.
And it was just like he moved a foot, 2 feet maybe, and those 2 feet made all of the difference. If he would have just gotten taken down in the box that he was standing in, he would have been far away from that and probably fell onto one of the people trying to arrest him.
Wow.
But just the smallest step smacked his head off the thing and he had to go to the hospital. But I got to get out of here. I got to take care of the baby child.
KFARR, man. Before you go, man, I appreciate you being here, bro. Dude, you one of the nicest guys, in the community, and probably one of the most reachable people out there. I absolutely thank you. I didn't say a word before you got on because I'm like, I don't want to jinx it. I want to see this guy because behind the scenes, dude, this guy, he talks to everybody. He tries to get to everybody as much as he can. He's one of the most reachable people, and I absolutely appreciate him for that. KFARR, thank you so much, dude. I can't say enough. I appreciate you being here, bro.
Yeah, no problem. I'll try my best to make myself available if you want me back. I just have no time anymore.
Dude, I get it, man. I told you, bro. My best bud is just like you, dude. He has a family, man. I absolutely get it. I get it, and I would never pressure you to do anything, but I absolutely do. The time that you give, generous. I can't thank you enough. Corrections, you have anything to say for KFAR?
KFAR, brother, thanks for coming on and thanks for carrying me with all my technical difficulties tonight. You have some good rest and take care of that newborn, man.
Alrighty, guys. I'm out of here. Have fun.
All right, man. Show off. Take it
Bye.
easy, man.
Bye.
Bye. Well, how do you feel, Corrections? You want to keep going, or you want to call it?
It's up to you, man. It's your channel. I'm here if you want to keep going. It's up to you and up to the chat.
Well, really, it's up to the chat because I don't know how they feel about it. You guys want to keep going? You guys get like another 20, 30 minutes? Wait. Well, I don't know. Doesn't look like anybody's still into it. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll call it then. I'll make sure out there. So, man, where were you? Where you been this whole time? Uh, I thought we were doing that on your channel, Florida Wrangler.
I mean, I'm game if you want to bring him up, we can.
I mean, I don't mind. I don't care. Just I thought he was doing something on his channel. That's why. Q4 does rock.
Right. He's saying his channel's not set up for
Oh
it,
yeah.
so
You know what? I was gonna
if he
tell you that
wants.
too. You should when you get a chance, get on StreamYards and get your live up by starting. Just act like you're gonna start one, and then it'll tell you you have to wait 24 hours, and it'll by the time you have it done, you'll be able to start live streaming by like I think tomorrow or maybe Friday, I think. But well, sure, man. Let me send you the invite. Okay, I'm just gonna put it in the post it in the chat real quick and jump on. All right, there it is, Wrangler. Do 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 do. Hop 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 hop. Oh, there he is.
Hey there, Mike.
Hello, everybody. Hey, is mine echoing?
Is what?
Is mine echoing at all?
I'm,
You got a you got a bit of a
Wow.
delay.
Hang on one second. Is mine echoing at all?
is your YouTube off?
You got a bit of a delay.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Is mine echoing at all? Jesus.
Is your YouTube off?
Dang it. See, I don't know. Last time I was able to do a lot more things with the comments. I don't know why I can't do all that stuff today.
It could be something just weird going on with StreamYard tonight too, Jerry, because I've never had these kind of technical difficulties before. It's just weird.
Like coming in and out. And
Yeah.
another. Oh, and he dropped off again.
And now with KFARR gone, I'm running just fine now. It's weird.
Out there, associates, man. I don't even want to go there, bro, because it's like, you know what I'm talking about, man. It's like I was supposedly the issue, and then all of a sudden I wasn't the issue, and I guess I was the issue. I don't know, man. I don't even want to go there. Just it's just strange. It's just strange.
Hello
Uh,
there, Super Cali.
Super Cali, man. Thanks for coming along, man. He's another one of the guys that I talked to a lot, behind the scenes. Like we lost touch a little bit recently, but we used to talk a lot, on Discord and stuff. He's a really good guy. I don't know why he disappears on us.
Life, man. Life.
What do you mean? The sound or the was it the sound out there, associates?
Yay, I'm back. How's the echo now?
I'm not hearing any echo now.
Awesome.
I'm hearing it.
So I hear it now, yeah.
Yeah, hang on one sec.
Oh, you're talking about the other. Okay, I know what you're talking about out there, associates. No, it's all right. I got you. Yeah, you
How
still.
about now? That take care of it? Yeah, anybody? That take care of it?
Yeah. You're doing good right now.
I don't hear anything.
Now,
Alrighty.
corrections, little robot.
Yeah.
All I gotta
great.
say before we start on that is, dude, that video from that live stream of broken system, broken teeth, that was awesome. I mean, that just absolutely made me laugh.
Which one? Where I was on there with him?
Where I don't remember. Were you on there with him? That was the
Was it
live
last
stream
night?
from last night. Yeah, the one from last night.
Yeah, that was me on there with him yelling at him.
Oh, and the chick too. What was her name?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I about fell in the damn floor when he goes from, yeah, and I thucked on a Peter for an 8-ball, which I've never heard of anybody getting an 8-ball of meth, but whatever. To each their own. And then something else got said, and he follows up with, well, yeah, sometimes you got to do some butt sex for that kind of product. And I'm just like,
What?
oh, my gentle Jesus. And I hate to badmouth him since God already did, but
No, he got a good mouth when he started. He destroyed it himself.
sorry, God. I'll take that up. I'll just add that to the list for confession. It's been a busy
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, I got on that stream. It was about 2 hours and 24 minutes into it. I got up on there on that panel, and I just absolutely waylaid into him. And his back was up against the wall. He didn't know what to say, and
Well,
then of course,
it's his front up against the wall with his ass out that he's used to. But
true. Well, true, but then what happened was because then the panel's like, oh, geez, corrections just killed him. He just won this debate, and then for some reason they started turning on me, and then I was fighting the panel.
Well, I mean, I guess Broken System. I guess he bought that jail shower chili trifold.
Yeah, yeah.
I was watching a couple of things earlier, and me and Josh from Fraud Control did the one on the armed fisherman losing his lawsuit.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was a great video. Yep.
And that was his own goddamn fault for trying to walk the bridge to Bal Harbor. That's like the Florida Rodeo Drive.
Looking
homeless with a Glock, an M4, a fishing rod, and a Gadsden flag bigger than him. And just for anybody that doesn't know, a Gadsden flag is one that's yellow with a snake that says "Don't tread on me."
Oh,
and
my
before
God.
it started being the fucking call sign of all the goddamn left and right wing militias out there, that was the flag that was carried by our Minutemen, which were what became the National Guard in the Army Reserves during the Revolutionary War against Britain. But now it's just been more perverted than, a Michael Jackson house guest in the 90s.
Damn, that is a thinker. That is a thinker of a joke.
That's fucked up. That's great.
Yeah.
It may have been fucked up, but I thought it was dead on balls accurate.
Well, I agree.
I'm not gonna argue with it. I'm just saying whenever I hear that don't tread on me, I always think of that Metallica song, "Don't tread on me." It's like it always hits me in the back of the head. It's like, "Don't tread on me."
Well, apparently that's what Chili's lot lizard girls are getting tattooed on their lower back.
Jesus. Oh man.
Damn it.
Hey, everybody saw that DMA almost get their ass whooped last night, right?
Yes.
The video, right?
Yeah.
Please
say this bacon.
Yeah, well, I pointed out to Josh when he's like, I haven't heard Reagan's voice in this. I'm like, well, she's doing one of two things. She's either off tonight and she's collecting souls for Satan, or she's pimping out Chris Cordova's mom.
Damn. But the thing is, because when those 15 frauders went into that city hall and then 5 of them got arrested, as soon as they started making arrests, she disappeared because she's on probation. She doesn't want to go back to jail. She don't want that smoke. And so she knew that shit was about to probably get real again last night, and she didn't want any part of it because she didn't want to go back to jail.
Well, let me pull out a quote from the Comedy Central roast on Martha Stewart. And ladies, if I offend you, I apologize in advance. But, Reagan said that the prison food wasn't bad as long as it was clean shaven.
Damn.
And honestly, that was a lot nicer than the one they said about Sybil.
I don't know if they can get the cargo shorts off of that lady, man.
I'm thinking that she's packing more than the guys in Chili's channel truck stops.
There you go with the truck stops. You know what's funny that whole stream we're making fun of the truck stops. Like, there was one guy, you saw it? You saw that one comment?
I commented on it. I replied back to the guy. We actually got a comment on our stream where we started the Pornhub joke about starting a channel for Chili called Truck Stops with a Z on the end. And we actually get a comment from a truck driver who was offended.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the guy was like, what did he say?
He's
I'm a
like,
truck
I'm a truck
driver.
driver, and I find this offensive because I've seen chili, and you know, yada yada.
He
He
was like,
listed out his reasons for he was offended. So I replied back, "Sir, you have my sincerest apologies. It was not in any way to offend you. I wasn't trying to associate you with chili. I was trying to associate chili as a lot lizard."
and I basically told him like, dude, relax. It's obviously a joke. Like if you're getting that butthurt over a joke, like about that, it makes me wonder how close we are to the truth. Like because you're a little too
Is there something
defensive.
you don't want your wife to find out, buddy?
Yeah, you're just a
Right.
little too defensive.
Now, I'm not going to take that one, to heart too much. I'm not going to, really sweat that one. But, if my lot lizards joke starts having truckers down here, protesting like it's Canada, yeah, I'll probably still keep doing it.
Hey
But
man,
hey,
I
one
don't get.
question corrections I wanted to ask you in part one
Yeah.
was because you got to remember I've been out of the army and out of the main swing of a lot of government standardized shit for about a decade, and
Mhm.
but how have your bosses got you guys taken for protocols and safeguarding with all the fentanyl shit being copied into everything, and with all the damn videos I've seen of officers having to you know get out the the nasal injection.
Yeah, the Narcan.
Yeah, the Narcan injections. I've seen them having to dispense it to an officer on the side of the road because she
Yeah,
got a damn case full of damn fentanyl and didn't know it. How are
yeah.
you
I
guys?
don't know.
What have they got y'all doing to,
So
safeguard, or what kind of precautions have they got y'all taking now?
Well, okay. So one of the first things that we do, and this is even before fentanyl, is one of the things we have to do is get medication certified, and it's like an
Mm-hmm.
8-hour course that we take with the states where it's how to identify numbers on pills, what they should look like, and try to identify little things that might be wrong with the pill to see that if it's maybe counterfeit. And so we already had that training a little bit to kind of be able to find little things with medication that may stick out. But
Yeah,
now with the fentanyl and everything, we all have mandatory training as far as Narcan administering it, recovery positions, all this, and how to deal with it, how to dose it out, when to dose it out. It's a pretty complex thing that we have going on, and then we also have in every single pod, in the control room, basically in every room in that jail, there's Narcan there.
yeah.
Um,
Because
to be
the
able to,
Army had me working drug suppression for a couple of years when I went active, and so I got my firsthand experience with a lot of the shit that comes up from down south. And what I've noticed on the shit that the Border Patrol and DEA and everybody in between has been confiscating on this shit, I've noticed that a lot of the little pills, you know what they're using to counterfeit the fentanyl? They're using the little pill mills for MS cotton, which it is not oxycontin. MS cotton is morphine sulfate continuous. It's an 8-hour pill that dispenses anywhere from 20, 30, 60, 90 milligrams in that 8-hour period. And that's what they're counterfeiting these damn fentanyl pills as. So some of them are even the same colors.
well, and what's worse now is they're starting to cut it with carfentanil, which is 100 times more lethal than
Yep.
regular fentanyl.
Oh yeah,
And
and nobody had even heard about it in the last 20 years
that's
because nobody
correct. Yeah,
uses it anymore.
that's correct.
Because it was so potent. You got to remember when they come out with shit like that, the first people they use it on are
Hmm.
injured troops. because
Wow.
when I came back from my last tour and I had broke my leg, we took an RPG round to the grill, and that took us from doing about 70 miles an hour to nothing in less than a second. And the warhead just absolutely smashed the engine back. You know, it snapped the transmission from the damn drive shaft. It pushed the entire engine and transmission back about 8 inches. And when it did that, it knocked the damn firewall in. I broke my leg a half inch under the knee, and I didn't know about it for 3 weeks. I got to see wasn't a doctor. It was some other. It was like a Dr. Light, and
Dr. Light.
Yeah, I can't even remember what the damn name of it was. It was a physical something, but not therapist or anything like that. But he told me I sprained my MCL, and to just wrap it up, and that was that. About 3 weeks later, we were off of rotation, and
I think I know that guy. I think I know the guy that you're talking about. He's the same guy that they used to fix the cars in East LA. They call him Mickey Mouse.
I'm just glad that I never saw that individual again, because it was 20 days later. Now, keep in mind, I didn't know I had a broken leg, so everything else was just, I was on that broken leg for 3 weeks in full battle rattle. And day one of my 2-day rotation off, I was going to get a shower, and I was in a damn pair of PT shorts, and the first sergeant saw it. And he called me over there, and I started to limp to him, and he went, nope, Sergeant, you stay there. Yes, Top. And he come over, took one look at my leg and said, get your smart ass. Yes, thank you. Physician's assistant. That's it. Thank you out there. And it was a physician's assistant. Yeah, the first sergeant. And I don't know. I know, Jerry, we've talked. You haven't, but I don't remember if you spent any time in the military corrections. But, you know, when you're a staff sergeant and your first sergeant tells you go do something, you go do it, and you jump, snap shit and do it. In my case, I wasn't jumping, but, you know, I went ahead and I limped on back to the med shed, and they x-rayed it and came back in with a damn pair of crutches. I'm like, retro. So, yeah. That 3 weeks, it was a diagonal break on my tibia, half inch under the knee joint, diagonally all the way across. And then I had a linear fracture. Now, that runs along your bone. That one was like 6 inches long and almost a quarter inch wide. Well, they put a plate and 9 screws in it. Now, you got to keep in mind, even though I'd also been shot twice and a couple of other things, I'd only taken a handful of, you know, any kind of prescription pain pills in my life. You know, I was 28 at this point. And I woke up from that damn surgery. Oh my Jesus. My dad was there, my wife was there, and my dad was like, son, there's ladies in here. Watch your mouth. And I was like, oh, I didn't know. I just woke up and just like, I remember them knocking my ass out in the OR before, you know, they went to work. And then I remember waking up and it just being the most god awful pain I'd ever had. Wow. Well, after I got out of the hospital, they put me on fentanyl patches, which is completely, you know, it's a 3-day patch. It's transdermal. You know, you put it on your hip. Well, one thing the things I've noticed between then and some of the people I've talked to now is back then, you know, you'd take the damn thing off when you went and get a shower, and you put it back on the little foil thing it came on, like you do with, say, a nicotine patch. But with the fentanyl patches now, once you put it on, it's on. If you take it off, it won't go back on. You know, and that was in a controlled form. Now they got this shit coming in like, you know, like what you were just talking about, and it's coming in. Everything they're bringing up from the damn border is cut with it. And
yeah, you know, and one of the things that we're seeing right now is that we're starting to see fentanyl overdoses with marijuana now, and it's not necessarily because they're actually cutting it with fentanyl.
It's because to it. The shit's in the air because they're storing it in the same damn place.
Yes, because it's all in this. It's all in the same bags and everything. When the mules bring it over the border, and it's just cross contamination. So some kid, 16-year-old, just think he's buying some weed from his regular dealer. Dealer doesn't really know, and the next thing you know, the kid's overdosing on fentanyl.
Yeah. Well, last weekend, Rogue Nation thought that he was going to go on a frauditor troll and, cover for CRA audits against Big West. So
Yep.
CRA didn't show, and Rogue got on there and thought he was just going to, tee off on Big West's young ass. I wasn't having that shit. I had half the
Good
side
story,
chat
bro.
telling Josh, bring Michael home. Bring Michael home. And I got in there and I destroyed him. And he started trying to, minimize my contributions to that particular war effort by saying that, it was weekend partying because we were guarding poppy fields. And that was all we were, there for. I was like, dude, I guarded one poppy field for all of about an hour and a half so an unnamed government agency could come and document everything before we set the shit on fire. So, I called him on the shit. I'm like, okay, so with my 3 tours in Afghanistan and all my injuries and all the horrors I freaking seen, you're going to be pissed off at me because your damn smack supplier raised the price.
Yeah. Speaking of Rogue Nation, did you guys see the drama with him this morning?
I got a chuckle out of it.
What drama?
I haven't watched it yet, but just I saw the preview for it and I got a little chuckle.
Well, what had happened was he hopped on Fraud Patrol and said today was the day because he's been threatening for a while to audit the VA that he was going to audit.
Oh, I heard
because that was me that was jumping in his ass that night.
Yeah, and so this morning he says today's the day we're getting ready to go in, and I said, well, which one? And he goes, Mobile, Alabama. So I made a couple phone calls, and I happen to know some veterans down there. And within probably 15 minutes, had veterans waiting there for him. And I had called the VA and talked to the police command there. They were ready for him. His ass never showed up, but of course, 3 hours later, he's like, "Oh, it went great," and no, he didn't show up, bro. And
Well,
then
a couple of guys. I had several guys over the years that were from Alabama that were assigned under me, and I'm gonna tell you what, they were some of the best damn soldiers I've ever commanded.
Right.
And
dude, I just know one thing about Rogue Nation. He's an attention whore. He's an attention whore. That's all he is.
Seeing as how he was brought to Earth by a whore, it kind of fits. Come on, I'm not trying to pick on anybody or just start taking the ones we don't like and and start making mom jokes at them. But think about it: when you got somebody like this that is of adult age, I'm not going to go so far as to call him a grown up, but he's of adult age. And if you look at shit he does, how he treats other people, and he did not know his sperm donor. There is no way that a grown man raised him.
Well, that I would be shocked if he did have any kind of male influence, because he definitely does not.
Because I can tell you right now, I don't know about you.
Someone who was raised by a male.
Well, I don't know about you two or any of the folks in the side chat, but I'll tell you right now, say that I didn't have my family's patriotism and I'd gone the other way, and I decided to be an activist instead of a soldier. And I'm not cracking on actual legitimate activists. I think they play a very important role. But, these guys, if I had gone that way and acted like this idiot and like I said, and my father knew about me doing it, I can tell y'all what, I wouldn't be doing it again.
Oh, yeah.
Because that would fall under one of those, those mom things that we all heard growing up when we were about to F up. Yeah. I brought you in this world. I'll take you out.
Yep.
My mother, look, I'm 5'10". I'm 170-ish pounds. My mother is 5 foot, less, maybe 100 pounds. I'd rather go up against a damn Dallas Cowboys linebacker than I would piss that woman off.
Right. Yeah,
But
it was really interesting because I was talking to that detective there because they have, I didn't even realize it before, and not being military, but I didn't realize the VA have their own police force, their own, on site. I didn't know
oh
that.
yeah, and
And
they have the exact same powers as say an FBI agent in on the street somewhere. But on
Well,
that
dude,
on that VA property, they are sworn federal officers. They
I
have
yeah,
didn't know that
arrest
the Union
powers.
Pacific Yard had its own cops.
No,
yeah,
VA
and
has its own
I
cops. They do, but the VA
yeah,
cops are sworn federal officers. They're not security guards. They are
yeah,
sworn federal officers that have graduated from FLETC in Glencoe, Georgia. And by the way, FLETC is the acronym for the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center. They train everybody pretty much except for the FBI. Every federal agency train at FLETC in Glencoe, Georgia, which is ironically, it's like 18 miles from the Glock factory. But yeah,
but yeah,
and
I
these
was
guys
really,
do not play. They can and they will use lethal force.
yeah, and I was really impressed with him. He was super appreciative of, that, he ended up not showing up, but he was super appreciative of, I sent him all the Discord stuff and saying, hey, I'm not making this stuff up. This is the guy, he's threatening to go there. And he was super nice about it. He kept me appraised about every hour, just saying, hey, still not showing up, but, we're keeping vigilant. And but one thing he did say to me when I was talking to him on the phone, he's like, he's about ready to fuck around and find out from the wrong fucking veteran when he comes and shoves a phone in the wrong face of someone suffering from PTSD, and he's gonna get his fucking last tooth knocked out.
And see, that was when I stopped, just torching his ass with smart aleck comments. I hit him with some serious shit. I really did, and I reminded him that showing up there, you're going to go in and you're going to try to exploit for your own profit somebody who has already paid enough, but is still paying. And not only that, not only have they paid with either their bodies, their minds, their souls, now they're having to also sacrifice their dignity to go into this place and tell a perfect stranger some shit that they don't even probably tell their spouses, their mothers, or even their priests. And this idiot's going to go in there and take pictures of them and record them doing this. So it wasn't enough that these people have, these brave men and women, my brothers and sisters, have sacrificed their mind, their bodies, their souls, and now they have to sacrifice their dignity for this effing piece of trash. I don't care if he was the king of his fucking trailer park. I'll send him back there.
Yeah,
I'll
Michael,
send him back to mom's single wide, and that it absolutely pisses me off because
Michael, you had brought up a really good point in one of your previous streams. I can't remember what stream it was, but you were talking about how angry he was getting when the military was getting "thank you for your service" on the stream, and just more.
Well, apparently the word got out that night about that there was a veteran, that there was a disabled vet taking on Rogue Nation's bullshit. And all of a sudden, then the damn side chat is full of veterans, and they're sending they're sending like $10, $20, $30 super chats to get theirs across, because there was just a shitload of people in there, and a couple more came on. And I had told Josh earlier on, if I got on to, if you got to mute me, I understand, because I was not going to back off of that idiot. And that was when it hit me, because he just kept getting madder and madder, because every one of those chats that would come up, Josh would read out loud.
Yeah, you had brought up the main point in that stream, Michael, that he thinks of himself in that way, like, I am a national hero. I think he really believes that, and that how dare you think these dumb troops who they don't study as much as I do. I'm much more smarter than these dumb troops, and I'm doing more for the public good than these dumb troops. And I really think he thinks that.
Well, I'm
And
glad
he
he's
wants
got a
to.
paid membership. I'm glad he's got
Yeah,
a paid
no,
membership to Wikipedia, but Wikipedia ain't
dude,
shit. And I love YouTube because they do give us this ability to have a forum. But you know what?
dude,
Half the people that put shit out there, like I'm a law scholar. I mean, come on.
Right.
right?
That's
They
why
don't know
that's why I
shit.
reminded him that the YouTube Law School is not an accredited institution.
Nah, man.
And
The thing about Rogue, the other thing about Rogue is that he for some reason, because all the stupid fraudsters have given him, like, their praise or whatever, but he believes that he knows so much that you can't question the things that he talks about, and it's stupid because I've had so many debates with his dumbass where I tell him, what gives you the authority to say you know about this, or what do you how can you interpret something when you don't know how to interpret things like a lawyer? And the only thing he tells me is, I know the law. It's like, dude, you don't know shit, and that is not an argument. And
yep,
that's why
and
that's
actually
why
I can actually let you know what it is because I'm going to bring up Rogue, Chili, and Reyes. The problem with these three idiots are that they started out in life and they didn't automatically get to the top. All right. And they knew they just did not want to work to get there. So they went on YouTube. They created their alter egos. Basically, they created scripted characters. And now that they've gotten out there a little bit and they've seen a little money and they've gotten a few subs, they now have gone from having an alter ego to believing that they're their own, that they're the character that they create. And that's the problem, is that they created these alter egos because they were dealt shit in their real life. And then, boom, they got to actually having some success with it. And now they think they are the character. Because do you think
yeah.
Right.
Reyes goes home to the poor woman that has to get underneath that girdle wearing, and do you think he goes home and he talks to his old lady like he does some of these officers?
Of course not. She'd whip his ass.
I'm thinking she'd put him, I may make jokes and say that, that anybody married to Reyes would be the equivalent of Trailer Swift. But, you know, I just, I don't get it. That to me is just some of I understand why they're doing it. I aced all my psychology classes, but, and I know why they do it, but I guess it's just that I'm in kind of disbelief sometimes that they actually did do it. Does that make any
Well,
Right.
sense?
yeah, no, I
Like,
get it, man. The thing that's baffling is that uh, it makes it hard for me to understand how people can't see through them, because it's like it's so easy for me to see through them. Like, it's so easy for me to understand what they are when I first see them. And I don't know, maybe it's because I've been around people like them before, or maybe I've seen a lot of liars in my life or whatever. But the point is that, like, I could see right through Rogue Nation. I could see right through him. He doesn't impress me in any kind of way. That's why the first podcast we had, the first one that we did, when he was here, I was like, I don't want to. I don't even want to have any kind of discourse with you, because you don't do anything in good faith. You don't come in. You're already with your bullshit. The minute you get into a stream, you're already with the bullshit. Like, you're not saying anything new. You're gonna continue to regurgitate all the stuff that you always regurgitate. And if there's anything that you heard about recently, all you're gonna do is move it around to what it fits your narrative, and it never ever is gonna be against you. Anything that's put out there is never gonna be against you. It's
exactly.
gonna
If
be
there's
it's
scripted bullshit, well, all of a sudden we go from Fox News to fucking Sanford and Son.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, but
Rogue,
and just to piggyback off of what you said, yeah, not only am I not impressed with him, but none of these people are impressive. And I don't
No.
mean that in a way that you don't have to have the most spectacular job in the world, but I look at it as someone as impressive as someone that goes to a job that they love every day, that takes care of their kids, that that they have their shit in order, and they're comfortable with who they are, and they're just a good person to the community. None of these people are.
I grew up watching Chuck Norris, Arnold, Stallone, and Chuck Norris and Delta Force. I grew up watching a lot of the military shit. The movie Navy SEALs with Charlie Sheen and Michael Biehn and Dennis Haysbert. I think I can quote it to you. But at the same time, while I grew up watching, Spec Ops movies, I always knew that any soldier, anybody, it doesn't matter what their damn job is. The one thing that every single one of them have in common, besides that uniform that they wear, is the fact that they all took the exact same oath. Every one of them went through the exact same basic, regardless of what their job ended up being. And that's, like I said, that's one of the things these idiots can't understand, is the fact that, I still to this day, and I've been dealing with it, and I've been experiencing it for almost a quarter of a century. And now that I just said that, I'm a little depressed. Where's my Jack Daniels? But,
don't worry about it, man.
But, I've never to this day been able to, I don't know what the proper response is when somebody finds out that I am a veteran and they thank me for it. I've heard some people just, say, my pleasure, no problem, you're welcome. The only answer that feels correct that I've ever been able to muster up is, my honor, sir, man. And because that's a word that no frauditor knows. They may have heard the word. One or two of them may be able to spell it. I doubt it's going to be Davy Boy Bitch from Good Guys, because, he can't read. And that's not a crack. That's a self-admission from him, by the way. And, I'll never be able to understand it. But that's the thing that they don't get. And that's the thing they want, is respect.
But
Rogue saw
exactly
me and every veteran on that damn panel that night get respect. They didn't want to earn it. They just want to obtain it.
Yeah,
and that may sound
Mike,
like it's the same thing, but it's not.
Yeah, no, Mike, that's exactly it, though. The thing is about frauditors and about people who are like them is that they don't want none of the work. They don't want to earn anything. They want it to be given to them, and that's why people like you and KFARR don't know how to like react when people tell you thank you, because you didn't do it to have people tell you thank you. You did it because you were looking out for the person next to you. You were out there. You were out there doing these things because you were doing them, and you weren't thinking in like your mindset in doing the things was to do them. Just like anybody else who would do anything and anything we want to get it accomplished, you do it. You get in front of it and you do it. You're not thinking about the accolades. You're not thinking about what's going to happen afterwards. You're thinking about the moment and how you're going to get through with it. And that's the thing.
And beyond that, to touch on something you just said, Jerry, and and here's the thing: people like Rogue, they come at guys like me, and they always hit back with the same kind of shit. Like when Rogue was shitting on what we did in Iraq or Afghanistan. And he was just shitting on it, because here's the thing. A soldier, they don't decide where they're going. They don't decide what they're going to do. That's done at the executive branch. There's a reason that regardless of whatever branch you're in, if you're in the armed services, at the end of the day, the president of the United States is your boss. That's why the current president's name is on every commissioned officer, lieutenant, captain, major, commander, admiral, just depending on what service. every single one of those commissions for that officer on their commission has the president that was in office when they were commissioned. His signature is on their commission. So a military officer is actually authorized by the sitting president of the United States when they were commissioned.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
I don't mean to cut in, but I just got a tweet from ABC News that Black Hawk helicopter that went down in Alabama a little bit ago. None of the troops survived. So prayers to them
where'd it
and
go
their
down at?
families right now.
CO, where'd it go down at, brother?
Alabama.
No, I heard that. Did it say anywhere? Birmingham, Mobile, Gadsden, Huntsville,
Let me try seeing if I can find it
Montgomery?
again.
Because Fort Rucker's only about 40 miles from Mobile.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't
I'll
find
look
it
up there,
now,
Will.
but
Anybody that's still
yeah,
on the side chat, please, if that's your religious thing, please say a prayer for those men and their families, for
absolutely.
those men and women and their
Yeah,
families. No, I wasn't being sexist. My apologies, but you know, and KFAR can back me up on this. That like when I'm sure at some point you guys have had to go on lockdown and strap up for business. And when that happens, that is really theoretically no different than being in an active firefight. The situation may
yep,
be different, but the sentiments are the same, because you're not worried about what the your bosses are out doing. You're not worried about what's going on at home. In that moment, just like on a battlefield, you're worried about the man or woman to your left or right, and that's it.
absolutely. KFAR said Huntsville.
Yeah, I saw that. There is, what's also in Huntsville, don't you, Co? Correction,
No.
NASA.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's it's damn it, I can't think of it. It's in Huntsville. They do a lot of the engineering work for NASA. It's rocket. Damn it, I'm sure
SpaceX?
Kate are looking it up for me right now.
Well, I could tell you one thing that just gets me about all these guys is that they keep going after the blue collar guys. They keep going after the workers. They
I
keep
called
going
and I
after the
called Davy
people.
Boy out on that.
Yeah, they keep going after the people that really can't do anything about what they're talking about, and then all of that is not either one, not going to affect change, and two, you begrudge these people who just go into work, and I can't stress it enough how I'm tired of this, man. I'm tired of them going in there and doing these things and messing with people that all they do is go to work and all they want to do is get through their day and go home with no problems. And these guys just want to continue to add stuff like DMA doing to that little town, like stupid Davy Boy bitch going to the Coast Guard and giving that security guard a problem. It's like none of that is going to help you in any kind of cause, so your activism bullshit is out the window, and I just I can't take it anymore. That's why I don't want to deal with them. I don't want I don't believe that they are good faith actors. I don't believe that they are people who we should be treating as people who are trying to do activism or are in that realm. Like I'm done with trying to give them a platform. I'm done trying to like meet them halfway. They don't want it, and we shouldn't be there with them. We need to expose them for what they are, not give them any kind of platform, not give them anything that they can come and like talk to us and things like that, because they don't want to talk. All they want to do is put out the little points and say, "Oh, look what I did! Look, I got one up on these guys. Oh, I triggered them," and it's like, dude, all we got to do is give you one little slap and you're triggered.
Yeah,
We've given you assault. You're gonna press charges. You're gonna go to the cops that you hate. That's all that it takes. And it's like
absolutely. And
you
Well, I'm glad you brought up the Coast Guard thing because I watched that one. Now, granted, it was like a 17-minute video that I watched, but it still took me like goddamn 4 hours to get through it because when he did that, I mean, I wound up leaving down a shitload of comments on there because him going to that Coast Guard facility, that ain't the same as walking up on a damn Bronx precinct for the NYPD because they're not law enforcement. That is a United States military facility. And the reason that matters is because anything in those windows and past those doors, they don't need to have a sign to tell you don't do this, you can't record this. They don't have to have that. You go in there and you do like Davey did. If that hadn't have been what it was, because they were a recruitment center, if they held much more secure information, he could be doing federal time for going in there and taking pictures. It wouldn't matter if he didn't know he was recording classified info. It wouldn't matter if they told him not to record classified info. And there's a lot of national security acts that are active to where every one of those laws he likes to go out and butcher, pervert, and misquote and understand, they do not apply when it comes to the safety and security of the United States. He does not. And remember, Coast Guard may report to DHS as well, but Coast Guard, it belongs to the Secretary of Defense and the Pentagon. And like I said, everything that he was doing, he is so lucky that it was not. You ever wondered why they never actually cross onto and past the guard shack at a gate at a damn military post? When you see the occasional frauditor outside the military post, you don't ever see them go in. Ever. Because as dumb as these lazy bastards are, they're still smart enough to know, okay, if I cross that, I'm going to get effed up.
Right.
And they will. It will be bad. And I will have no sympathy for them. Corrections, Jerry, did either one of y'all hear what happened this past, it was 7-8 days ago, or it may have been the weekend before last, but you heard what happened in damn Fort Meade, Maryland, didn't you? Or no, it's Andrews Air Force Base. I'm sorry. It was Andrews Air Force Base.
Yeah.
Well, keep in mind that Andrews Air Force Base,
it's where the president flies out. The president flies out of.
Yeah, that's where Air Force One are stashed. Is it damn Andrews Air Force Base? And also, Andrew is right next to Fort Meade. Fort Meade houses the NSA and about 16 acres of underground computers. 16 acres of computer banks. That's all that damn listening in the NSA does and shit. Probably on this stream too. But he actually broke into the base. Though there were wives on base that were shooting at him at the residences. I haven't gotten a name yet, but he probably never going to come back from Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah. Well,
the CIA would be
right.
Well, I hate to cut you off, man, but I got to get going. I got some stuff I got to do before. I got some other stuff happening. We can have another live. Maybe what's today? Today's Wednesday.
It is Hump Day.
Yep.
Have you talked to Josh about what's he trying to do? I mean, I would love for him to come around just so we can have a little chat with him if you can get him over here.
I think right now he's doing something. He said that he was gonna do something with the family tonight because
No,
he spent most of the day. Uh,
yeah.
he's got about half a dozen more videos that are gonna drop
Yeah, I know he's
soon.
constantly just
And
if you
anyway, he
can
does half a dozen videos today.
if
So
you can if you can let him know if he wants to do something. Maybe we could do something on Friday or if not tomorrow. But hit me
yeah,
up, Mike. Maybe we could do something tomorrow. Corrections. I don't know. If you wanna you're gonna drop your video soon. If you want to do something tomorrow, let me know. We could do something. Um, yeah, I just gotta take care of some stuff.
well, I
I
Yeah.
keep
understand,
trying to
brother.
avoid it.
I understand, brother. And let me say this, guys. I may have I mentioned it earlier in the side chat, but I watched a damn Moorish Sodsit video last night, and the cops had just finally had enough of his bullshit, and they take him down and they're cuffing him, and his baby mama, wife, mate, whatever she was actually screaming at the cops that they couldn't arrest him because he has diplomatic community.
I thought that was your typo. I thought that was your typo.
No, it wasn't a typo. That's why I put quotation marks. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I was sitting on the edge of the bed playing with the dog, and I saw that and heard that. I actually fell off the bed laughing, well, KFARR, that's what my channel is going to be mainly is going to be us, our guys, vets,
Oh, there goes corrections
giving
again.
vets a platform to deal with the frauditors and how we look at it. And also, I want to hang on. I'm just about done, Jerry.
You're good.
I
You're
also
good.
do want to do where we are going through and have done legal research, and we can go on, live streams and absolutely dispel frauditor theory. And I think we'll have a good time doing that. Hey, corrections, I really appreciate it and all the info you gave me because, like I said, I've been out of that kind of mainstream for a while. Because the last
Yeah.
time I was in the know with corrections was like I said, my former battle buddy, who is a sheriff in Georgia, found out that guys that were coming in, not officers, inmates that were allowed to keep their watches if they weren't too expensive, like a G-Shock or something. They were allowed to keep them going in. Well, what they were doing before they went in actually had stashes in their watches under the panel where you change out your battery. They actually had Suboxone strips in it. They were making, and I found out was that they go and they take the strip in a razor and they cut it to like 15, 20 pieces. And apparently it's a high if you dissolve it in water and then snort it. So like I said, he said that guys were making $120 to $150 in damn store off of one strip.
Damn.
Oh, I'm sure.
But
Yeah, I like your idea about doing, doing kind of like a constitutional stream on First Amendment frauders, and I would love to be a part of that because unlike frauditors, I have actually attended law school, so I would love to be a part of that.
oh yeah, well that's going to
No,
be
yeah,
part of it because I've got a corrections guy, another one with KFARR who's also a brother, and I've also secured an attorney, a bailiff, and I'm just hunting for just a regular uniform officer to get on there too. And I think that'll be really good. But
I'm sure
I'll
Blue
talk
Bear
to you
would be up
about
to it.
say what, bud?
I'm sure Blue Bear would be up to it.
Oh, absolutely. But
Yeah.
Jerry, corrections, I'll holler at y'all tomorrow. And I'll
Yeah.
talk to you first thing in the morning, Jerry, whatever the hell it is I get up. But corrections.
Yeah, man.
I just want to make sure that I'm putting the right conversation with the right person, because I've had a bunch on here the last few weeks. But you told me that, didn't you tell me that you tried for the military, but you had a spinal issue?
Yeah, developmental spinal issue. It's not a big problem. It doesn't give me problems today, but
Yeah.
just anything like that. Yeah, they
Oh,
just.
no.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. It's, I just, like I said, since I went on that first live stream with Josh when we took Georgia Transparency apart, I've been on about another 8 different damn live streams since then, more. And like I said,
Sure.
I wanted to make sure that I associated the conversation with you. Just
Yes,
out of
sir.
respect. Oh God, no, blasphemous.
My
right,
daddy raised me well.
Outstanding. Well,
All
don't
right,
let
Mike. Well,
Texas,
thanks,
don't
man.
let the
I
accent fool you.
appreciate you coming on again.
Absolutely, guys. I'll holler at y'all tomorrow.
you know, we're
KFARR, I'll holler
we're
at you.
working out our kinks. We're working out our kinks. We
Oh,
all
yeah.
wanna. We all have ideas and we all want to expound on them. We're working out our kinks and we're getting ourselves used to this YouTube thing. I actually like that you're so willing to come on and share, and I love what you share, man. You always come with something. You know what I mean? It's
Absolutely.
good.
And I actually had
Thank-
one more thing I want to throw out there, and it's regarding Reagan. Is, I know that she's not really, used to being a mom. She hadn't been a mom for a long time. But Jesus Christ, even Casey Anthony knows the current location of her daughter.
Oh my God, dude.
Damn, that's fucked up. I love it.
That's
Woo!
cold, man. That is some cold turkey right there, dude. That one, right? Jeez. Oh my goodness. And on that note, we're gonna leave that dry turkey sandwich to hell no, man. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you, Mike. Corrections, man. We had some technical difficulty today. We had to wing it. Not exactly what I expected from the show, but you
We
did your
got through
best,
it.
and we're gonna work it out. We're gonna work out the kinks, man. We're gonna do it.
That's right.
Thanks to KFARR, our guest for today. He was perfect. He carried us. He did a really good carry job today. If I didn't know any better, I would have swore he had the number 24 on him. So we'll be back. I'm gonna try to be a little bit more frequent, a little bit more shorter on the streams. But I'm gonna try to be a little bit more poignant on the things that I want. Hopefully, I can get a tech person so we can start seeing some videos and get some things going for people, and we're not just talking. And keep subbing, keep watching us, keep sharing, keep liking and all the comments and everything, because we want to keep going. Thanks again. Hope to see you soon. If not tomorrow,
Absolutely.
Friday
But
for sure.
hey, at the same time, I'm kind of proud of Reagan, because I didn't know somebody could have a stroke on both sides of their face.
Jesus Christ.
Damn.
Okay. All right, guys.
Let's go. Later, gentlemen.
Have a good one,
Have a
guys.
good one, guys. Remember, you don't need to be a proctologist to recognize an asshole when you see one.